Welcome back to MugenCast. This time it's episode 28. Dimitri Williams back in the studio, aka my apartment, aka my car, aka a lot of different places where I record. This time I'm not coming to you at 2 in the morning. I'm coming to you from my vehicle because I felt like being outside today for the podcast. I was like, beautiful day. Got a MugenCast to do, got a podcast to put out. Might as well spend it in nature. Granted, I'm not really in nature because I'm in my car, but it is outside technically, so still works. So hope you guys have had a good week or however long it's been since the last MugenCast. Hope you guys are succeeding, chasing dreams, making a lot of money, just everything that could be going well. I hope it's going good for you guys. Past week has been busy, as the past few weeks have been for me. Busy with a lot of different stuff, work of course, as usual, and also a lot more like mindfulness stuff that I've been trying to kind of integrate into my life recently. So I spent a lot of time just sitting down, thinking, starting to try to get back into meditation, stuff like that, just healthy, positive experiences that I really needed to reenact. Oh, actually, give me 1 second. I need to do something. All right, and we're back. Sorry, I just had to handle a quick technical difficulty. Didn't think that was recording properly. But anyway, yeah, so I've just been getting into a lot more of that, thinking about how I'm doing my work, whether I can do it efficiently, different stuff like that, or do it more efficiently. I actually was listening to this podcast, another NPR podcast. Every NPR podcast is good, by the way, so you really can't go wrong. But it was talking about the idea of deep work. And it's kind of like the idea of that we're stretched so thin in terms of what we give our attention to. When you're doing work, if you're, say, working on like a project for school, you're like checking your email, you're checking your phone, your friend is in the other room asking you 1,000,001 questions, and your mind is so fragmented, you're not as efficient as you could be if you were just focusing on that one project, that one task. And so I started to think about this in my own creative little thing that I do, and I was thinking that's so true, because when I'm editing a photo, when I'm editing a video, when I'm brainstorming ideas, there's like 62 other things I'm doing or distractions around me that prevent me from being as like locked in as I could be. So I've kind of been starting to integrate that into my workflow process, I guess you could say, and it's been helping. And just generally being more mindful, being more positive, has made me feel a lot better with what I'm doing, the passage of time, that type of thing, and the timeline I'm on. I was getting, which I always do. I always get frustrated with things not working out in the time that I want them to. But now I'm just sitting back and letting it take course and letting it unfold. So of course being a part of it and pushing it forward to go as fast as possible. But if it doesn't, then it is what it is. It'll happen when it happens, type of deal. So yeah, that's been kind of the past week in terms of how I've been working and the different change. This cast was brought on. This was like 2 weeks ago. I had this idea actually. I sat down one day and just wrote out like 2-3 ideas for podcasts, and I actually wrote down 2 more today. So those will be coming in the next few weeks. Hope you look forward to it. Hope you listen to it. But I think I'm going to title this episode "Who Matters." So when I was thinking about the next idea for an episode, I started to think about what I find myself being challenged with recently. I really wanted to but I thought it would be cool to have my experiences when I'm going through at that time also be what goes into my content. I want to make that like an effort, not just that it happens to intersect, but that I purposely make sure it intersects. Because I feel like when I have discussions or talk to people in real life about what I talk to on the podcast, we can kind of go through it together in a way and find solutions together. It's not, and the good thing about this, the beautiful thing about MugenCast and just generally what I do, is that a lot of these problems that I'm bringing up and talking about, I haven't necessarily found a solution for myself. Like oftentimes I'm still in the process of finding that solution with you guys. So we're all kind of in this journey together, which I think is really cool. And of course, now that I'm doing a podcast outside, a plane decides to just fly overhead. Unfortunately, there's like an airfield nearby. All right. Yep. Take your time. Okay. So, and I was, and as I was thinking, I remembered how much I struggled earlier on, and even now, with the opinions of others toward like the things that I create, right? Which sounds obviously flawed. Of course, you shouldn't listen to anyone else. You're amazing. You can do anything, etc. You should tell yourself those positive things. Um, all those things you get told all the time. But truthfully, we all have doubts creeping into our minds. Sometimes it can be crippling even. I know for myself, for many years, or maybe not many years, but for a little while at least, I didn't even want to pursue a lot of things that I enjoyed, not even necessarily just creatively, but just being outgoing, because I felt the judgment from others or the opinions of others kind of weighing me down. But the reassurance and support of others is a huge help to boost your confidence as well, funny enough. It makes you feel like the doubts you may have about putting yourself out there, they may have been irrational, and you can move forward kind of burden free once you have that push from other people, and that I guess that insurance that, yeah, what you're doing, I support it 100%. It's nice to know that you have that backing. How many business people out there do you hear saying, I couldn't have made it without my business partner, my girlfriend, boyfriend, etc., or this person in my life that just generally, pushed me into the direction I need to be pushed and just helped me through those tough times. It's like you always need someone next to you, like the Robin to your Batman, I guess you could say, if you want to be cliche. It always seems to take the help of multiple people to truly make something happen. But if you don't have that, as I didn't for a while, what do you do? How do you keep yourself confident in your ideas and abilities, especially when they aren't working? When you're going through the tough times, that let's say you're a photographer, because I think that's an easy example. If you're a photographer, you're not getting any clients, your work isn't being recognized, and overall you're just not where you want to be. How do you keep it going when no one is there motivating you? You don't really have like a business partner or anything like that. So I'll give you a hint. The answer isn't simple, as it never is for a lot of this stuff. At least in my opinion, it isn't simple. I think I have a few strategies that work for me, and I'm tweaking continuously to make them work even better. So I figured I'd share a few of them, and hopefully you guys could take something from that. So for one, I try to find comparisons, people who are doing what I want to do and are successful at it. I watch their moves, how they act on the daily, what kind of content they make, etc. And this lets me feel as though I'm not the only one out there with this idea. And when I see it working for them, I think, oh, well, it can work for me as well. But this is a dangerous one because, and I heard this from another video maybe not many years ago, but about 2 years ago, that when you're looking at other people and what they do and you see their success, you start to feel that you're the only one who's not successful sometimes. And that can be also detrimental, because then you think, man, what am I doing wrong? What are they doing so right? And it can also be kind of, it can also be a negative towards your progression, which is kind of funny. But if you think about it in the right way and you tune your mind the right way, you can actually see how it's a benefit to you, and it should be a motivational factor rather than, what's the opposite of motivation? A detractor, let's say, from your motivation. You can look at this person and say, hey, person X has made it with this way. Why can't I? You have to kind of look at it with a glass half full type of mentality, if you get what I'm saying. So that's one thing I try to do consciously to push myself forward. Rather than looking at it from a jealous point of view, look at it as a motivating, positive role model to emulate. So that's one. Another tactic I have is to take out the social markers that we use to gauge popularity. So likes, comments, views, all those type of things. And this is a hard one, I will say, because if you're making content for the internet, those metrics determine how successful you are, and everybody plays by those same rules. But getting so wrapped up in them is really detrimental as well, because sometimes I'll post a video or a picture, like whatever. I just want to enjoy the fact that I posted that picture or that video. I don't necessarily want to think about how many likes it's going to get. Is this what's popular right now? Is this what's on trend? Should I have even posted it in the first place? Like, you just want to create and put it out there without those chains or those burdens on you. It's enough to just share it with the world. It doesn't matter if it's seen or not. And this is one that I'm still, like I was saying before, a lot of these things I'm saying I'm still trying to get better at. This is what I'm struggling with every day, because it's like a balance almost. You have to care but not care at the same time. But I'm just trying to tune myself more and more to thinking, all right, Dimitri, your post didn't go well. It didn't get you what you wanted it to get you, but did you enjoy creating it? Did you like taking that picture, that video? Did you like editing it? Were you excited to share it with other people? And I think that's where the problem comes in sometimes, that we're excited to share it and we have such high hopes for everything we create that we like ourselves. You create a video and you're like, oh, this thing is so cool. I had this crazy transition, et cetera, and then you put it out and 3 people dislike it and only 4 people even watch the dang thing, and you're just thinking like, well, dang, why'd I even try to put it out in the first place? I should just kept it on my hard drive. But that's not the case. It's the enjoyment of the creating itself that really matters, and that's just something you have to get used to and attune yourself to. Really, I keep on using that word, attune. That's like the buzzword for today's episode. But that's the second thing I try to do, which, like I said, is unsuccessful sometimes, but it's also a strategy. But then circling back to the original topic, the answer is that no one else has to matter. Really, it's you and what you create, and that's it. Period. That's enough. I sound like a city girl. Period. But anyway. Maybe it won't always lead to scaling up and huge success and things like that, but it will lead to happiness in what you create and pride in it. So it's like how you get those people who have been doing a craft, like say writing, if you create novels, stuff like that. They've been writers for years, but you've literally never heard of one of their books. They're just unknowns essentially. But to them, it's still valuable because they're putting out something for the public. They're chasing their dream and they're being creative, and that should be enough. That should be enough right there. But many times it isn't, unfortunately. And like I said, it's a daily battle that you have to embark on a lot of times. At least I do, for sure, of keeping yourself in the right headspace and looking at things from the right perspective, to keep yourself going, keep yourself motivated. So it's tough, but it's I guess it's one of the challenges of being a full-time or at least even part-time creative, that you have to be a little bit more in tune with I said it again. You have to be a little bit more in tune with yourself creatively and be more mindful than the average person, honestly, to constantly monitor how your emotions are, how you're feeling about things, because that really is like your bread and butter of how you're able to create things. It's how motivated you are, how much you like it, how much you enjoy it, because at the end of the day, no one's forcing you to do anything. Everything is a choice, especially creatively. And yeah, that's it. That's all I really have to say, to be honest. So hope you guys, at least one of those strategies, even though it wasn't that many, it's only like 2, but hopefully one of those guide you in a direction to maybe your own strategy that you can employ to be successful and be more motivated and less focused on what other people are saying. Hopefully that's the result. So I'm going to take a quick break because I need some water, and I'll be right back to talk about what's coming up in the coming days. Give me one sec. And with the magic of editing, I am here. So real quick, not much to discuss for kind of the weekend preview here that I do at the end of MugenCast. But one thing is I'm going to be trying to do going forward is figuring out some YouTube content. So whether that's like the video form of the podcast, like setting up a camera, showing you guys what I'm kind of doing and being all animated over here while I'm talking, which is one thing I talked about before. Or if it's just something else, doing other type of discussions or talking points, that's definitely a focus I have to pay attention to this week. Maybe just even writing out some ideas, because I've been saying that I've been wanting to do it and I've yet to do it. So I need to be a little bit more on top of that, I guess I could say. So that's one thing. Also, I'm going to be aiming to get more photography like jobs, I guess I should say. Going forward, trying to get some gigs, maybe doing some work for companies, commercial work, that type of thing. I just wanted to make it more than just a little hobby that I'm doing on the side. I need to be able to kind of put together a portfolio, be a little bit more professional with this whole thing if I want Mugen to grow and my whole movement to get bigger and more noticed, get some more notoriety. Good or bad? No, I'm kidding. Hopefully good. So that's one thing I'm focusing on. And then finally, I want to think about how I can build this thing into a movement. And that's the thing. It's like to create anything large, or at least to create anything as large as what I have in mind, it takes so much time and like tweaking, and it just gets annoying sometimes how slow this whole process is. But I have to accept that, as I was saying at the beginning of this episode. So just thinking about that more and laying the foundation for a good whatever this is going to turn into. And I think at the end of the day, it's going to turn into a business of some type, whether it's a creative agency or something else. I just want it to be something that a lot of people can be a part of, and they can make money from and be successful from and provide for themselves from this whole thing that I created, whether it's just a single platform or whatever it ends up being. That's the thing that also irritates me, that I can't actually formulate what it is, and share that with people in a concise, succinct way, because it's like always growing, always changing. But then again, that's what Mugen means anyway. So it's very complicated. But that's something I wanted to be thinking about as well. And I think I might actually help my sister film a video this week. So that's a little thing on the back burner. But new pictures coming up this week. I'm going to be making an effort to get out and shoot more. I already did a photo shoot with Kevin a few days ago, so you'll be seeing those pictures on my Instagram at mugen.ig. But I'll be finding some other things to take pictures of. Hopefully, things that will provide me with money, because money's nice. But that's it for MugenCast episode 28. I'm going to call this one Who Matters. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to support me, follow me on Instagram at mugen.ig or at Tales of Mugen on Twitter. I think I'm going to create an independent, like standalone Instagram for MugenCast, actually. So next episode, I'll tell you guys what that is. Start putting out some content on there, so you can have like a hub to go to for all things MugenCast, if that's what you know me for and that's what you're really following me for. You'll just be able to go there instead of all those other places. But like I said, hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next time, peace.